Funeral cover for less than a cup of coffee. Peace of mind is not as expensive as you may think. For just one day, you can forego your cup of coffee for your monthly Diaspora Funeral Cash Plan cover. To find out how much premium you would pay, get a quote today. Visit www.diasporainsurance.com/get-quote. WhatsApp +44 770 3838 304 UK and international. WhatsApp +27 659 070 419 South Africa and rest of Africa. Funeral cover for less than a cup of coffee.
Here's a funeral cash plan that guarantees you free coverage in the future. Throughout your career, you have made contributions to a funeral plan. Eventually, you retire and cannot afford the premiums, and your policy expires. Are you heading in that direction? Let Diaspora Insurance take care of you. When you take out a Diaspora funeral cash plan, you'll never have to worry about this again. Your future coverage is guaranteed. You can get a free quick quote right now and start the journey to free coverage in the future when you cannot afford your premiums. Your peace of mind is only a WhatsApp message away. +44 770 3838 304 or +27 659 070 419. Get in touch now. 24/7 quote and apply at diasporainsurance.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Yes, we are on and live here with you. How are you, everyone? We're back. Get yourself ready. This is gonna be I forgot my tissue. Where are my tissue, Dr. Lucy? Oh my goodness, I need to get my tissue. This is gonna be very, very exciting. If you're joining us today, we are back. Dime Talk Show. For those who have never heard about us, we started this program some time back, some few years ago. But here we are looking for you. Give me a shout where you're listening us from. Write for me. Hi, let me know because this is going to be very interactive. I need you all on board. I can see a few people joining in there. Thanks, Mugo. Yes, thank you. I always love you because you support us a lot in Madaraka Homes. Thank you for being there, part of supporters. Share as much as possible, because today we have a very, very interesting show, because you don't want to miss out. And I'm going to get my tissue store very, very quickly, because this is going to be such a laughing place, having fun, exchanging diaspora stories. Yes, today we're going to have diaspora stories. And we actually started this diaspora, so I can't get ready to get to this discussion because I was like, what are we going to be talking about? So we decided to do it. But before we go there, so who are these people in front of you guys? So I'm Joy Sense, the founder of Africa Women in Europe, and also Africa Women in Trade, as you can see there, and a very lady wearing so many hats. I'm also the chair lady of the Awe Diaspora Circle, and a lot of group organizers and supporters of so many diaspora doing great work out there. So let me know who you are as well. You're listening us from. I can see some of you have joined in. Mercy is here. Thank you for joining. Share as much as possible with your friends and pin your comments. You're going to be seeing them up here. So Lucy, introduce yourself. People have not seen you for some time here. How are you? We have not been here for some long time.
It's been a long minute that we haven't been here, but it is great to be back. Happy New Year to all our viewers and those who currently support us, and the new and future supporters. Thank you for taking time to spend your evening with us. My name is Dr. Lucy Mackenzie. I'm currently in Kenya for a long time, and I'm excited about this conversation. We just started off as
Yeah.
What is that one thing that you could have done better if you knew once you got to the diaspora? So, and then we got all these 100 and something comments. So it was quite an engaging post, and so this sparked our new topics and how we're going to drive this program. So thank you, Miss Joy. It's nice to see
I
you in
mean,
the new year.
it's great to have to really the way you mentioned, we say diaspora stories. How are we gonna? We wanted to come here. We wanted, so what topic could be interesting? I said, you know what? It's always very interesting when people come in the diaspora, right? Anywhere
Yes,
new, there's always a drama, especially us who come really from way far beyond, from different cities, different cultures, languages. Oh, don't even mention it. Myself, I live in Germany, so you're gonna be hearing my stories as well, and Lucy's gonna be sharing hers. But before we get there, it's good for people to understand how the stories were going on, because it was quite funny. I'm telling you, it was a therapy for me to go and listen to see the chats. There were over 100. If you have not seen them, okay, for they're on my on Joy Awe profile. You can see the discussion there, the laughter. If you see the comments, they're unbelievable. So the question was very simple: Africa diaspora, what is the most embarrassing thing you did the first day in your country of residence? There is also things, like you don't even want to say it too loud. You say it after years back. And
yes.
it was amazing. Can you remember one? As I scroll down, I know you
Oh,
remember.
I liked the one that was quite interesting was the one where when the sugar was brought with the tea and they dunked the piece of paper in the tea and with the sugar in it, and that was quite interesting. And then she looked around and so nobody was looking, and obviously corrected that mistake. But I thought that was
This
quite interesting.
I know I remember that one too, and some people, these are the sachets for some people, the sugar sachets that you see nowadays.
Yes,
They're
yes,
more common. Probably the lady had come much. I know some people here have come here like 20 or 30 years. So some of the experiences you're hearing here, they are really from a long time when we came here. So I've been here for over 20 years, and you've been in US for also a really long time, and
yes.
the topic that the one that really made me laugh was the one for the heater, right? The heater is
Oh,
normally in your home, you normally
yes.
have heaters, right? So this lady came to, I think it's in Germany, if I'm not wrong. If I'm not right, I'll check on it and confirm. And each house has this heating because it's cold, it's winter time, it's cold, and we have to warm our homes. And what she did, she said she was very new, so she didn't understand what. I think she must have come in summer probably, because if she came in winter, she would have known what it
She
is
would
for.
have understood.
Yeah, but she said this thing doesn't look so beautiful in my house. It's a piece. Normally they are not nice looking. Yeah,
Yes,
they're always just standing there, and she wanted to remove it. That was so funny. I mean,
yes, that
how?
was
Because we don't have heaters back at home, do we? We don't have that at
correct.
all. Yeah. So which other one do you remember?
Um, there was one about flooding the basement. I just didn't get that part. Did she just turn on the water and there was a flood? I'm not sure.
Yeah, each
What do
country
you
is
think
different.
happened?
In Switzerland is different. So there seem to be a pipe you have to always get it out into the somewhere. And so when she did the not dishwasher, it was washing machine. It's normally shared a community. So it's in the cellar. So most of them are in the cellar. So you share in Switzerland,
Ah,
they share all this kind of machineries, which I find it hilarious. I want mine in my own house, but if you're an apartment, you share it. So I think there's a pipe you always have to put it somewhere. So she forgot and she went shopping and the water was flooding everywhere.
oh my goodness.
Yeah, the other one that I found so very funny, you come to, I don't know about US, when you open your window, let's say in Kenya, you also open and you open out, right? You
Outside.
open outside. So was actually she'll come here because this lady is hilarious. It was so funny. So in Germany, and this is actually what you're sharing you here is what happened and will happen to you as well. So pay attention to these small details. And so what happened is that we do have, you can tilt it, like tilt it just
Ah,
a little bit
okay.
sideways, but she didn't know. So when she opened, she sort of like thought it's broken, and she
Oh
was,
no.
and she was very new, and she had to come and explain this one because it's very hilarious. Because she stayed for a long time and she put things on it to cover it, to feel that she was freezing, it was cold. But then
Oh
she
no.
discovered what really happened. It's a neighbor said, "Why is this house of yours so cold?" And I think there was something at the, and it was very dark because she had covered. He said, "I think I broke the window," but it was just like it's the way you open it, you just have to return it. And it's small things, the way things work. But there's some which are funny, but some of them are not funny anymore. Right?
Yes.
There
Like
was
driving on the wrong side of the road.
no, that was from probably from the right side coming to drive on the
Yes.
that you don't want to miss out. So check out in your countries where you are, because you never know. And which other one do you remember there? Because we quite have a few. I might read some. I went to withdraw money from the bank. I was asked how I wanted my money. This is funny. I remember that. I said
Oh
I want
yes.
it in £100. This was in UK. I then went to buy a TV. Can you imagine how much £100 note she had? So she gave the
Yes.
£100 euro to the cashier. It's so fun. I imagine the cashier with all the workers to show them how 100, they have never seen a £100 in the first place. That was also funny.
Correct.
The cashiers, right? It was last time I saw the 100 note because she didn't know she could use the card and pay it. So she got the cash out. Yeah, that's quite funny what people do when you come in the first time. And here I have Lisa. I don't know buses. Only stop at the bus stop. That's really also funny. She was trying to wave anywhere. So guys, in Europe we have a bus stop. I think Kenya, the way, or Africa, you stop it
Oh
anywhere
yes.
they
You
stop,
can
right?
flag down any
Anywhere.
matatu, boda boda.
Exactly. And she was stopping, and finally she noticed that nobody's stopping, right? That is quite, it's the way they explain it is definitely hilarious. But you need to go there and see the part of it. And we're going to invite most of you guys who gave us all these discussions and topics. They were
Yes.
quite hilarious and very funny. And we'll be inviting you here to share, because I think as we're hearing, a lot of people are coming in, and it can be funny right now, but the situation is not funny, because there's one of them who wrote there in terms of where one person was having, it was, in Germany we don't have like barriers, and the train comes either left or tram, exactly, like the one that is going left goes right. You have to be in the right, so we call here like a platform, right?
Okay.
So, and the train came, but it came on the other side, right? But she decided to go down the stairs,
Oh,
go walk all the way, and everybody's watching this, but because she didn't know normally there are stairs on the side,
stairs.
that you go down and up. Normally it's quite organized, but she didn't know, and she had no idea. So she jumped, and then was wondering, why are people not jumping over? And it's quite dangerous, because there's another train that was
Yes.
coming, right? And you have this, like in Germany, you have very speed trains moving very, very fast, and this can also happen quite a lot. So it's quite serious. We'll be having quite a lot of people coming in here to share more. But let's now talk about ours. Today we are on the grill, Lucy.
Yes. Yes.
So let's get on ours. What's on the table now? I'm sure everybody, I hope you're all listening. Let me know where you're listening from. Let me see there. Give us a shout. How was it on your first day? Give us a comment there. Want to know more about diaspora insurance? Okay, that one I'm also going to show you in a second. Thank you for pointing that out. This show is sponsored by Diaspora Insurance, and we'll be giving you more information about that. Thanks a lot for joining. And also, what we have there, getting ready with my tissues. You better do. You better do. You better do. Let me know where else, all guys, you're listening us from. Good vibes. quite interesting topics there. So let us know where you're listening from. Share as much as possible. And Lucy, you might also have to check on your chat because not all the comments we see here. I think I also
Yes.
see YouTube. We are on YouTube, by the way. We also have a Dime Talk show, a page. If you cannot access Joy Airway, we also have Dime Talk show page. It's literally DIME Talk shows, and you'll find the page. You can share it there. You can also we also on YouTube as well with the same name, Dime Talk shows. So have a look at that, and you'll be able to share with your people and also exchange discussions what's going on. So, Lucy, tell me,
Yes.
how was it? I mean, being a diaspora, especially let's talk about how long you've been in the US because that's also very important, right?
Yes. So for me, I went to the US 34 years ago, and I went there because of school. However, there's a lot of things I wish I knew before I got there. There's all these movies that you watch, and there's a lot of misconception that, the the streets are lined with gold and everything there glitters, and it's just soft life. But it wasn't. I arrived in the US when it was winter. um, I was not appropriately dressed for the weather.
Oh
I
no,
did not
Lucy,
have
don't
a
tell me.
jacket.
Don't tell me. You are the kind who can
Ah,
come with
I
sandals,
was
yeah?
one of those people who wanted to arrive in the US looking very cute.
With a nice dress and high heels.
Oh, girl, you have no idea.
I wish I could. Did you have that photo? We
I,
need
I
to
need
take
to
it.
find, I was hoping to have that picture and post it and show just how cute I looked that day,
Oh
only
my.
to get there and I was frozen. And I was going to Pennsylvania. I
Oh.
think, some of these things are things that you gotta research, even the state you're going to and the time you're going there, what to expect. I just was so excited that I was going to the US. And so my first blunder was the way I was dressed. The weather was not very welcoming. I arrived there, I think because of the flight delays, I arrived there very late. So my ride wasn't even there. It was just a mess. That's how it started. How did yours go?
Well, that's a very good question. Yeah, because I didn't come on my own. I had come through marriage. So the first time I came was sort of like family introduction thing. Yeah, getting to know the parents and all that. So and it was winter. I remember it was
Oh,
also winter,
okay.
which is I don't know why we have to be introduced in these countries in winter. They never bring us the summer because summer is so different, right? So it
Yes.
was winter, and I remember the good thing with what I have to say because before I came, I had started German classes. Don't forget, I'm in Germany, so there was the language and all that stuff. You have to pack it in the whole thing.
Yes.
So I remember when we were having the classes, they were showing all these places without like a tree that like a forest that has been burnt out. And they
Oh,
were asking us, "What do you think this is?" And I said, "I think there was a fire, something burned all the stuff." I said, "No, this is winter." I said, "What do you mean that's winter?" So in the school, I said, "What winter can kill all the trees? Is that plant really gonna survive?" And I couldn't really grasp how. In Kenya, in somebody who were in Africa, the trees never lose its tree. I mean, that was
yes.
literally like the way it is here. It's like a stick, like no leaves, nothing, right? It's winter.
Yeah.
So I had already gotten an idea how the winter would look, but I didn't imagine how cold it would be, right? So we came and being coming with a plan, of course, they guide you. Of course, you have to listen what they tell you. Dress up, yes, we dress up. It's gonna be cold, yes. You have to agree everything. But then we went to go, we landed. So I don't think because psychologically I had prepared myself it's gonna be cold, but how cold is when you get to for me it's about the whole idea there were no people around, because people don't walk around so much in the city. I have never seen empty streets in my life. You have
Yes.
all these nobody around and everybody is gone, and I'm thinking like, what? And unfortunately, where I went in, it was more in the village, so I was also a very a good a good person. I mean, how do I say? And I guess to look at, to see new people, different. You also come in where you're the
Wow.
only black,
Yes.
and you're new in the area. So this was a culture shock in terms of being stared, because you've never been stared in Africa as well. For me, this one was the quite. I couldn't understand why they're staring, and
Yes.
to accept that, especially when you're so new. The cold was very, very cold for me. Styles was not part of my. So long as I was warm, I think I still have that photo how I looked like when I came in. So and it's more the culture. For me, I think the language was the biggest one. Yeah, the language. It was one of those
Ah,
things that you are like, oh my goodness, how do you manage this language and just wake up? Don't forget, you're gonna be. I didn't come. I came both of us, so you're on your own. So they go. He goes to work. You're left at home, and you're like, oh my goodness, what do I do? I'm so happy when I got my firstborn, which is gonna take me to the next story of my experience.
yes.
Yeah. So in your side,
Wow.
anyway, yeah. So and the
Eh,
reason
Go
why,
ahead.
I mean, the thing is that we also talk about why we migrated, because people also wonder why we moved, right? Anyway, I can say it was
Yeah.
not by choice for me; it was by marriage.
Oh, okay. For me, it was because of school, and it's. I really wanted to go to. I really wanted to go outside Kenya for my university, um, but initially I thought I would go to India. But my dad was like,
Ah,
hell to the power of no, you're not going to India. You need to find a school elsewhere. And I really didn't understand why he was so opposed. So when I got the admission to the university in the US, I was super excited. And so for me, that was something I wanted to do. But I just didn't realize, that I had an accent, because I thought I spoke proper English, and I still think I do. But the thought that somebody can tell you, "Oh, you have an accent," and you're like, "What do you mean I have an accent? You have an accent too," you know. And then I
I,
went to a PWI, a predominantly white university. So you're there, you are like 20 in a school of 8,000. So you're only about 20 to 30 Black students, um, and a few African students, and the African American students, but predominantly a white college. And so, like you said, yes, the staring. You go to a store and people stare at you. I had cute little braids, so they would
oh.
want to touch my braids. You're thinking, in Kenya, where will you go? And somebody says, let me touch your hair.
Nowhere, nowhere.
Nowhere. Yeah. So that was quite an awakening for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's and I'm like the way we have different scenarios, because I came in with like full. I knew there's no going back. You've been married. You're here now, because of the
Yes.
contract ended in Kenya, because the whole idea was to stay in Kenya anyway, because I had come here and I didn't like it, so I knew I was.
Ah,
So I had to come, because anyway you're married now. My mother, mom, pack your bag, off you go. And then, oh my goodness. Anyway, so the coming in, the language, for me, the language was a big issue. Now this was the funny part of my experience. So, and then I got pregnant. So I was like, okay, now I need to go buy a test to find out whether, yeah. you're pregnant, right?
Yes.
And I remember I had done all the German. Don't forget, I had done the German course before I came. So I had like a B1. So I could understand a lot, but I
Okay.
could not talk. I could not speak it. You understand, but you can't even finish a sentence. So it took so long. And don't forget, because of the situation. So I had to, so I was told, of course, I wanted a secret. It can't be a secret. You have to share it with your husband anyway. So, and then you have these, he wrote to me like, I couldn't even say, it's really hard. It's called Schwangerschaft test. And now I can say that time it sounded, I don't know what. So I need to go to the where we I have the German one, but I'm trying to find the English one where you get medicine. Where is it called in English? It's all gone. To a pharmacy, to pharmacy. That's where we get all these. And I had to go there and I was like trying to look so cool. I can say the word, and I went, shh. What? What do you want? So finally, I got this, and then I said, just read this paper. So I handed over the paper, and she was like, oh. So then now they came with the whole. I have to say, I was very lucky because, of course, I was pregnant with my first son. But I have to say, I met a very nice lady, and I have to say, really pressure when you come in new to have somebody with you to guide you along, because she had a child before me, so I had no idea. Like children, you have to use the nappies. The old Kenya, the nappy una fold like a triangle. You tie it in a pin. That's all I knew, right?
Yeah.
Auna mama yako, you don't have your parents here, you don't have anyone to, even if you ask your parents, they have no idea what's going on in this other side. This side develop. Things are brought, there are bottles of milk, there are baggies to push that something else, And the funny thing for me was the Pampers, because the Pampers, finally, actually, I had to practice because I didn't know how to put a pamper, like.
Yeah.
All those things that you underestimate when you have never used them. So it was such. So I actually had to buy a doll and use her, and she had a small kid. So I learned quite a lot from that. Quite a lot.
Wow.
In terms of what food, especially the food was also. I could see she says, okay, you start with this food and start, because it's really not a joke when you come here with children, especially in having children, and you have never known what are the processes. Yes, and that baby is brought to you. For me, even the worst part, because I had also gone through different stages. I wanted to go, the prenatal where you are trained how to bring the baby, how the baby cow, how to push and all that. I had to go with the mother of the children because I could not. I needed to understand everything that I need to know, right? So and I wanted to do everything perfect and do it right. So and he had to translate things that I didn't understand. But even then, I had cesarean, so you still have to take care of the kids and all that. So it is such a process. So guys, I hope you're enjoying this discussion wherever you are. It's a quite a reflecting how it was. And why we are doing this is because we want to know whether you guys went through all that. If you can share with us a hint where you're returning us from, and also how was your experience when you came as well. This is going to be quite interesting discussions coming in here from people. And we're going to take a very, very short break as we show you a little bit of one of our sponsors, and we come back. Meantime, share with the people around. Let us know where you're listening us from, and then we'll be coming back in a few seconds.
Funeral cover for less than a cup of coffee. Peace of mind is not as expensive as you may think. For just one day, you can forego your cup of coffee for your monthly Diaspora Funeral Cash Plan cover. To find out how much premium you would pay, get a quote today. Visit www.diasporainsurance.com/get-quote. WhatsApp +44 770 3838 304 UK and international. WhatsApp +27 659 070 419 South Africa and rest of Africa. Funeral cover for less than a cup of coffee.
Yes, yes, you're back. As you had there, funeral cash cover there is Diaspora Insurance. It's part of supporting us, sponsoring us, and it's all about protecting yourself after death. How are you gonna deal with those baggages that comes with it at the end? And they are very happy. They are. You can also check on them. I'm going to share their website here with you. So they do have the diaspora funeral cash cover, and that's what one person was asking about them. What do they do? How can you take care? How can you take a cover? You can go to their website, diasporainsurance.com. It's a really simple cover, as I mentioned earlier, is to really cover your cost cash, to give you cash on the day you die. So you have a decide you can do for yourself, for your family, for your people back at home, not only in the diaspora, any most of the countries in Africa, you can always get the
Yes.
cash cover. And I think you also know you can also maybe put in a bit because one person asked that mention. Maybe we can add up a little bit. Dr. Lucy, do you have anything else to add on that?
Actually, the fact that they have a very quick turnaround when your cover when you need that coverage. For instance, if your loved one passes within about 48 hours, they have the money to you, so you can begin to make your travel arrangements and or begin to pay for some of the things that you may need. As most of us are aware, there are many GoFunds that are out there, especially when somebody passes on. So, can you imagine not having to have to go through that process of putting up a GoFundMe to be able to get your $20,000 if you're in the US, or if you are, I believe even in Europe, they have 20,000 pounds as a maximum coverage. So it's something that you can look into it, and it helps alleviate some of the stress on family members after the passing of their loved ones. So the fact that you can even cover people back home in the continent is a huge plus. I think they have a coverage in 13 countries, if I'm not wrong. And so you just need to find out whether your country is covered, and you can call them, and they'll give you a free quote for whoever you want to cover. So I think
Yeah.
it's a great thing to have.
Yes, that I hope it answered your question. So that www.diasporainsurance.com, you get a form in there to request a discussion. You can have your first meeting already. Reach out to them, and they're quite fast. They'll respond to you, and you have a meeting with them, and then you can really go into it in detail because we believe this is more a personal issue. You want to do it with yourself, with your family, but it's quite comes handy. So yeah, so thank you for asking that question. I hope we've answered your question. Now, Lucy, Dr. Lucy, tell me,
Yes.
how did you really recover from all those? Did you ever recover from all those drama, or do they pop up here and there sometimes? Because some of them, I think, I still have bad habits until today.
Well, I think in some ways, when I think about some of the things I would have wanted to have, because I really went to the US right after high school. And so there are things that I think I would have benefited or done better if I had been well prepared. For instance, managing money, you know, having a bank account and managing your checking account. It's not just writing checks, and there's consequences to bouncing checks. The value about having good credit. And so I can say my beginning years in the US were quite tumultuous in terms of managing finances. Um, and then just you know n- during the time when I went, there used to be a limit that you could get as pocket money, when like every 6 months you could get pocket money sent to you.
Okay.
But because of not having good money management skills, I would finish my money in a very short period of time.
Yeah.
And so working in the kitchen, uh, washing dishes, sufurias that was so huge. I don't even think I have ever seen those kind of sufurias anywhere, but we had them in college.
Could fit
And
inside.
like you could literally enter into the sufuria because of how big it was. And they paid $3.25 was the
Oh,
salary per hour, and it was hard work, really hard work. So um, I think having good money management skills would have been a huge plus to have. Um, and then I would call because I felt so lonely. I was,
yeah.
I
Yeah.
really
You were
missed my
young.
family
How old were you again?
at 21.
That's still very
I,
young.
I
Yeah.
just I missed my parents, I missed my siblings, and I would call a lot and
Every
not
day.
realizing that this is money that I'm spending. So yeah, some of those things, when I
No,
think
but I
about
like
them,
the way
they
you
do make me
say.
laugh, and I'm like, wow, how did
I
I
mean,
get over this silliness?
I know, and the thing is, with the homesick, I think that one will never recover, right?
Yeah,
We always be feeling homesick. We always be like, for me, I call it, like, for me, I know I have no return. It was like a one way. It was one way flight. Literally,
yeah,
it's not an option. Yeah. So you could get all the options and discussions. I remember my sister was getting married
yes,
and had just landed 3 months. I had to go. I said, I have to go even if I just wanted to go back and get,
yes,
I call it like energy tanking. You always have to go back because it can really drain you off, right? When
it
you're here
does,
for so long.
it
However, whether
does.
you are here forever, you're married, you're here, you need to go back home and fill up. I call it
Just
filling up the
recharge.
energy recharge. And it's
Yeah,
purely recharge, because I remember one time I was really like sick and I was sniffing and all that. And I went home and came back, everything disappeared. I'm like, what was that? I thought I was asthmatic or something,
yes,
this kind of a thing. And there's also some habits anyway that people, I can see people are coming in listening. Let us know where you're listening us from. We want this to be more engaging, and we'll be coming with more guests. We already have a line of guests, but we're not going to tell you who. Let's get going, because it's quite interesting to really understand, because we're hearing a lot of people are coming to dance where there's a lot of they're saying there are a lot of opportunities, there's a lot of this. Well, let me tell you, one part that we see it a lot, and it's the depression, and it's called sad. Yeah,
yeah,
SAD, sad. Yeah, it's actually nothing to do, you feel depressed, but it's to do with the sun, because we are used to the sun
yeah.
24/7. We ignored it, but we don't have the vitamin D. And this is something that we always, like, now, like, I chase my kid. That vitamin D normally even does taste anything. Those kids run away for nothing, because you have to give them and have for yourself vitamin D in winter. Yeah.
Yes,
And it's part, otherwise you start getting depressed. And it's a sign of like a depression. It's literally a vitamin D thing. And a lot of students have heard about get this. And the only thing I've noticed there in Germany, some people go through it and also end up being in hospital, and really getting it very hard to recover, to get back. But back to our habits, and today I'm not making you sad. You're supposed to laugh. There is one thing I've never recovered, Lucy, Dr. Lucy, and you're gonna laugh about this one.
uh-huh.
Time, and trains and their timings.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know
Yes.
about it. I don't know whether it's me, it's my brain. I don't get it. I've lived here for 20 years, for those people who have done 20 years, but I'll miss my train when I'm just standing there, especially in Germany. Ask me
What?
how. So,
How?
yes, let me explain to you how this happens. So,
Uh-huh.
In Germany, I mean, in trains, we are not used like go to the bus station at this time and get a train. You just go and there's a matatu there. You go, pick it, take and go. So for me, my issue is that the train, it says the train comes here, let's say at 8 o'clock p.m. or a.m.,
Okay.
whatever you want to say. But that's the time the train is leaving. It's not coming. It's
From the
leaving
station.
from the station. So you would be
Uh-huh.
coming at 8, and actually it leaves when you're
It's leaving.
starting. It's
Oh
closed.
no.
And even it can be there, but the doors are closed. And I've paid so many tickets, and and sometimes it's so stupid. I just go like, I'm here. Let me go get a cup of coffee or tea, and I sit down because normally they're long, very long train. Just stupid things that I do at last minute.
Are you still doing that?
Yes, unfortunately, I try
Wow.
my best. Sometimes I told myself, you know what, you're gonna, because you have to pay a new ticket. I have to learn through that, and with that, because I know I'm gonna
Ah,
pay another ticket. I I see the train. Normally, it's normally there. Some of them very early. I go sit down there, and I'm not gonna get out and get a cup of tea or anything, even if I have so much time, and stay inside because it happens quite a lot, and it's up to do
okay.
with the time. And the other thing is the timing, yeah. And something else, some of you were in Europe, in Kenya, we have the sun like the whole time up and down, right? In the morning,
Uh-huh.
you don't even see the difference, right? So we don't need watches, right? And when I came to Germany, the first thing, I don't know, it's a German thing. I don't know about the US. You have to have your watch, my dear. I
Wow.
had a watch. Sometimes I would sleep with a watch because I have to keep time in terms of you have to have doctor's appointment, and something that I've realized here in Europe, if you have an appointment and you miss it, they don't make a fuss out of it. They wait for you to come. You and your 20 children or 100 children you're gonna bring. You're late. Go back, make a new appointment.
Oh, wow.
I'm telling you, they teach you the right way of keeping time. So a watch was, I've always owned a watch, and never owned a watch in because you can never tell what the time is, right? The sun is like moving like here, not up. It's like, so you never know what time it is. And
Yeah.
and something else that also you were like, tell me about the hours, how about this dark and night thing. How did you cope with that?
Huh. Hmm.
Because it
It,
gets,
it it gets tough, especially when we change the time. You're either you're moving forward in time and you're moving back in time. Uh, and you're like, in Kenya the time stays the same. We don't have times in the year where we are 2 hours ahead and then we are 1 hour ahead, behind. There was none of that. Um, so I'm not sure there was a time that I really got into that time factor, because during summer, like in Texas, summers were quite long in terms
yeah,
of it's daytime at 9 p.m.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So um,
And
I
and
don't think I really got into that.
for me,
Uh,
the when I came in, it was winter, so it was dark at 4 or
yes, dark
5.
all the time.
I was like a chicken. When the light goes off, I go to bed. I was not the best wife ever. I was going to bed at 5.
Wow.
I was going to bed at 5 because it's dark. I really can't help it. I'm tired. It's dark. I need to go to bed because it's dark and it will be dark at 5. It took time before I got used to that. And also the daytime, right? The good thing in Europe, I don't know about there, we have these curtains that you can close completely, because even at
Yes.
almost midnight it's still very bright, right? So you can't
Oh,
sleep, so you
wow.
can put up the rollers and have it completely closed. Okay, we are not in the nowhere. I don't know those guys what they're gonna tell us because those guys don't even have daylight at all or no night at all. So you're 24/7. I don't know how they manage that. That we're gonna hear this from them one of these days. So Dr. Lucy, tell us how do we how what was one thing you would really, as we come closer to the end, I see some people are here. They are happy to listen and laugh with us, but they don't want to tell us you're gonna be coming here to be grilled as well.
Ah,
Because we need to hear your stories too. Let us know where you're listening us from, because it's quite interesting. Yeah. So, what is the one thing
the one
somebody
thing
coming
that
to the US that they have, they should really pay attention to for the beginning of the few months?
all right. You see, the first all right. I think right now, if you're coming from Kenya, you're exposed to a lot in terms of, you go to the store, the grocery store, and you'll find all kinds of things in terms of there's lots of cereals, lots of pastas, lots of different types of milk, and things like that. Whereas during my time, that wasn't the case. We had KCC, and that was KCC.
Yep.
Then you go to the US and you go to the milk section of the grocery store. There is all these kinds of milk: skim milk, whole milk, whole fat, buttermilk, all kinds of, like, there was a lot.
Yeah.
And the same thing with cereals. We had Weetabix and cornflakes. Then you go there and you find this whole slew of cereals, and the same with flour. And so now we are exposed to a lot. The one thing that I can say that was had something that I really, even now when I think about it, I have to consciously remind myself: peer pressure. Peer pressure can cause you to do something that really can be dangerous and could actually cause you death. Um, so my very first car that I bought, um, we were racing on the highway, and I totaled my brand new vehicle. On it flipped several times because we were
No,
racing, and it was a
you
peer
don't look
pressure.
like a
Like,
racer.
I am serious. And it was daytime. It
Yeah.
was not raining. The sun was out. So peer pressure can cause you to do very silly things, and so that is one thing I can say that I learned a big lesson out of that experience. And also, when I purchased my very next car, um, I didn't take it for service for like 2 years.
Oh no,
I
you
didn't
didn't
know
know.
I didn't know that you're supposed to take your car for a service for 2 years,
Come on.
for every 3,000 miles.
Oh
And
no.
the only thing that saved that vehicle was the fact that I didn't drive it very far. It was to go to work and come back home, or go to school and come back home. So I wasn't driving for miles.
Whoa.
When I took the vehicle for service,
Even
the
airports,
technician
they
was
say.
like, "How has this vehicle been moving?" The oil was so black. It was like sludge.
Oh no.
Yes. So
God.
some of these things, we are laughing about them, but I think they can help somebody. If you've never owned a car in Kenya, and you're going to the diaspora and you're fortunate to be able to afford to buy a vehicle, yeah, the car needs to be taken for
I
service.
also have those stories because it's quite, people take it for granted because you see people buying cars. You want to buy, you're
Yep.
young, you just buy the car. Even houses, there's something that's simple. If you want to buy a house, you don't think you need to
To
get
mow the lawn.
the mow the lawn, and also there's some maintenance in these houses, right? Like
Yes.
ours, you have to buy oil, you have the heaters that need to maintain, you might need to buy the oil or the gas. I don't know about in US. In our side, there's so many things, but of course, when you stay in community, you want to own these and that. No, I love. I'll never forget that one. A car without emotion for over 3 years. That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
You did what?
A car without going for service
Yes,
for
for
3 years.
2 full years.
2 years. Oh wow.
Yes.
These are the mistakes that we do, and we should really that what we did with Awi, just to give you back to the story, because we noticed there's so many things we do, also big ones, yeah. Some of them are really big, but we never share it, and we see people coming in and doing the same thing again. So what we did, we tried to write them a book. We have
Oh,
our
nice.
book. So the our book, in fact, I have them here. I forgot, I kept remembering to mention it. The our books, we have two books here. And this is
Awesome.
the first one here. We have 11 people. You have people from not only Germany, UK, youth as well, who came here as young people, because they also have a different, like you mentioned, neo style.
Yes.
And those people who were married, who come here with children and with this experience, and how they pull themselves up as well. So we have two books here. Actually, we still have them available. So if you feel like reading stories, some of them, like this one, you'll not finish without crying. Some of the
Wow.
stories are quite touchy, because we didn't want people to repeat the same mistakes over and over again. We said, why don't we just put them here, and then somebody can read about our story when we came. Mine was definitely was around just to navigate coming to Germany. And I think my dreams were so big. Here you have the language, you have children. So what next? That for me is nothing. I need something else. I need to achieve more. And people need to know these things when you're coming to I think, and that's discussion we had with you the other day. And I'm going back to those things that we use on a daily basis. Let's go back to the
Yes.
machines. Let's go back to you talk about the car. Let's talk about the dishwashers and the and the
Dishwasher,
washing
laundry.
microwave. you know some people come from the village, they've never seen a microwave, and then you're here, because I was hearing the other day, there's a story that they were saying some of the people, you go to some of these places like a house helper, and you've never been in a full kitchen. And Europe kitchen, and as much as the US, they come fully equipped, right? And they have all
Yes.
these emissions. For us, you know how to wash the clothes with their hand, finish, wash the dishes with their hand, finish. And you have this machine there when looking at you. So there's some people who I was hearing that they put the you don't know whether the washing machine for clothes is for dishes or for the clothes. There's these small things. I have to say, me, when I came, I think I was a little bit spoiled. So the machines were dealt by the person who knew more about the machines. Because I was not going to touch that machine. It had so many buttons. And like the washing machine has so many things. And then you have the
Mm.
language on top of it. You don't understand. You have to check what it is. Yeah. So these things are things. What do you think? I mean, people really need to all of us go through that experiences when you come to leave alone, not even that, even a TV. You can have a TV and never watch that TV because you don't even know how to operate those
How to
stuff,
turn it
right?
on. Yes.
And what do you think about that aspect? I don't know how it was on your side in terms of the apart from the car, the maintenance. Probably you had
Um,
a community.
for me, because when I moved from here, I went straight to college and I lived in school.
Ah, okay.
And the things that were big challenges were, how do you operate the laundry machine? um, you have to have quarters to put it in the machine, and then there's this. I mean, like, those were things that if one had the I we were very fortunate. There was this African professor who was teaching at the university, and he
Okay.
would gather the African students and take them to his house once a week, and then he would show us those things. This is how you
Ah,
operate the laundry machine. This is how you operate the vend. Then he would take us to the vending machine and show us how to put the money in and purchase the candy or whatever it is that you wanted, the snacks. But imagine if you didn't have that person to guide you. How would you know what to do? I mean, I think we would break the machines or something. So there are things that when you are going to live in the diaspora, regardless of which country it is, it would be beneficial to know some of these, what we would think are little things, because now we are familiar with them. But imagine somebody who's coming from the rural area.
yeah.
who they probably don't have even electricity at their place. Okay, then you just come through Nairobi going to JKIA to board your flight. That
Yep.
person can have a lot of challenges, especially if they are going there without having somebody who's receiving them on the other end. In my case, I did not know anybody there. So it was you've gone, now go fend for yourself.
I know. I mean, and these are the things that we are touching base here, because these are the issues we are seeing, and I'm hoping so many of you are learning and hearing from us. You'll be hearing lots of these stories as we come to the closer of this discussion. It was 1 hour, but the whole idea here is to share with you these stories so that you get to know how you can also learn from others instead of repeating the same mistakes. I know probably now people in Africa, it depends where you come from, really, because some people come from really a different level of lifestyle, that they come straight to a culture that I think there's a lot that need to be prepared, and I'm hoping there's quite that is being prepared, because I would volunteer to go to that course if I was, if because people don't see those things. They only see where they're going. Like you are saying, I want to go to they're looking forward to the US, but I think each person should have such kind of courses or trainings that help them before they leave. What do you think about that?
I think that's a great idea. Something short that just gives you a rough idea what to expect. Some of the things that could be a challenge. I mean, just because you come from an environment that is not lacking doesn't mean that you really know what you're going to do when you get there. Because if you are flocked by people who do everything for you, and now you're going to a country where you're going to be doing things for yourself, yeah, you will be depressed, because if you're living with a roommate, they will expect you to cook, they'll expect you to clean, and if you don't know how to do those things, it becomes quite a challenge. So yeah, I think it's a good thing to have something that gives you a refresher of what to expect.
Yeah, yeah, it doesn't have to be so much, really. It's just like a home,
No,
a small home that has, like you say, like the professor did all this called you at home. It is the way you see this, is the way you do that. At
yeah.
least normally it's a really short course, because it doesn't make you go into a lot of details, because just to have an idea what to expect on the other side. So that's very important. So I want to thank you so much for sharing all these. I hope people who are listening, you had something to really grab, and also and remind yourself also your time, if you're in the diaspora or if you're not in the diaspora, how things can really be when you're on the other side. So to prepare yourself psychologically, that's something I encourage you all to keep. You will be having lots of these coming up. So every third, I think it was every third Friday we'll be here. We already have a guest in hand. This one's a good one. Most of you know her. So I'm very keen to hear about her stories and her
Yes.
vibes, how she came in and how it was. Everybody, everything to do with the culture, with whenever you move from one place to another, there's always something to learn. And some of them you learn easily if you're lucky to find somebody to guide you. Some of them are very hard. So one thing that you want to give away for somebody must do, like you're really coming to the US, what is the one thing they must before we close this? Because I'm sure there's one thing. I know one in Germany, which is quite obvious for everyone. But what is the one thing in the US? Because probably the thing we know English and everything else.
I would say research the state you're going to, know what to expect in terms of the climate, especially. Don't just assume that we have the same weather patterns everywhere. Also, follow your path. Don't get swayed around by what other people have done. Uh, Go out there and network outside of the Kenyan community. And once you start getting into your professional career, invest. it's never too late. Invest pole pole, and at some point when you do ever decide to come back to Kenya, you'll have your nest egg waiting for you. But over time, if you just start slowly, you will get where you want to go. So
Love
let's
that.
go
Love that.
there and become global citizens.
Thank you for that. For me, it's number one. If you come to Germany, get the language. No discussion, no compromise. Try to, anyway, nowadays you can't come. My time, people used to come without the language or just a little bit, but now it's a must. So get that language done. At least you can understand, and then hang around with the right people, as you had.
Yes.
Get the right people, because I was lucky. I got a few people who guided me along. Hang around the right kind of people who are going to help you in terms of achieving the goals that you want, because there are all sorts of people around. Yeah, some people
Mm-hmm.
have different. If that's not what you are looking for, nowadays we have Facebook and groups, and if you don't know any, reach out to me. In Europe, and we have a lot of people in groups you can connect you to, who can help you to guide you for the first time, just the beginning. But don't come with a knows it all, because there's this naiveness. Oh, I know it all. I'm in Europe like you. Ha
Mm-hmm.
ha ha. Let me tell you, you're gonna hit very hard. And when you do it, it's your fault,
Rock
because
bottom very fast.
bottom very fast, and we want you to pick up faster so that you move on to the next level, because it takes time. Like for me, it took me until the language is done, everything, so it's almost 10 years, and the culture and the people, knowing that you're not going back, so you needed to dig deeper. You need to create time. So I want to thank you so much, Dr. Lucy, for coming. I can see some people coming up there. Agnes, thank you so much from Stuttgart for joining us. Ellen is there, the lady with the dishwasher you're talking about, with her story on the chat. We'll have you here next time, you telling us about your situation there. And thank you for joining up. So this is recorded. You can always share with anybody else. I just want to say thank you for your time. And the next time we'll be back here, this will be a continuous discussion, just to give you updated every month, talking to you about these stories. Now you've had ours, so we are good. So we'll be now listening to the other people. We're not going to have it very short, depend on how the topics are. 30 minutes, 45 minutes. That one should get us going. And get your tissues ready to laugh, because some of these people are storytellers, right? This is going to be a very good one. And keep checking on us. Again, I mentioned we've been brought here by Diaspora Insurance, who we really support. And I think each one of us should really take a cash cover plan, and you can check their website, www.diasporainsurance.com. This covers the funeral, diaspora funeral cash cover. That means you get a cash money when you leave us. And I know this is something we take for granted. We have all these groups that are going on each and every morning when you wake up. But if you've organized ourselves better, we have money to deal with those immediate stuff that are coming. So thank you so much for coming, and back again. Dive Talk shows. I'm so happy we are back here with a lot of discussions, and let's see each other again, unless you have any other parting word as I look at the comments from people writing. Yes, thank you so much, Mercy.
Thank you, Marcy.
Yeah, so
no
good.
Other parting words.
No more parting words, but just me smart diasporans. That's what you want to say. Smart diasporans,
Yes.
smart investors, as you had. There's quite a lot of there. So thank you so much. And I leave you with a short video here about Diaspora Insurance, so that for you to know. So bye-bye, and see you next time.
And
Bye. Bye.
see you soon.
Funeral cover for less than a cup of coffee. Peace of mind is not as expensive as you may think. For just one day, you can forego your cup of coffee for your monthly Diaspora Funeral Cash Plan cover. To find out how much premium you would pay, get a quote today. Visit www.diasporainsurance.com/get-quote. WhatsApp +44 770 3838 304 UK and international. WhatsApp +27 659 070 419 South Africa and rest of Africa. Funeral cover for less than a cup of coffee.
Here's a funeral cash plan that guarantees you free coverage in the future. Throughout your career, you have made contributions to a funeral plan. Eventually, you retire and cannot afford the premiums, and your policy expires. Are you heading in that direction? Let Diaspora Insurance take care of you. When you take out a Diaspora funeral cash plan, you'll never have to worry about this again. Your future coverage is guaranteed. You can get a free quick quote right now and start the journey to free coverage in the future when you cannot afford your premiums. Your peace of mind is only a WhatsApp message away. +44 770 3838 304 or +27 659 070 419. Get in touch now. 24/7 quote and apply at diasporainsurance.com. Terms and conditions apply.